more about your company than anyone else, but still, you're stuck repeating yourself to your staff, to your clients, even to your own assistant. Most people think that AI tools need hours of training to be useful and to work. But what if I told you that we built an AI that already knows your business because we pulled all the information from you? We take voice notes, SOPs, documents, anything you've ever produced for your company, pull it into a memory bank that can be used instantly by your AI. In this video, I'll show you how we install the system, what it replaces, and why it might just be the most valuable hire you ever make. I want to show you a working product that we built for an online English academy. And the objective here of this demo is to throw as many complicated questions as possible at the secretary and see how they answer it. As you'll see, we have set the AI to seem more realistic. It makes errors every so often. It splits up the message into 2-3 different messages. Again, these are complicated questions for a secretary who's just starting out in your company. And that's another benefit of having a custom AI trained on your voice, trained on your knowledge. It's going to be able to answer all these questions. He wants to do exams. How long are classes? You're not going to be able to get a virtual assistant to be this well informed about your product or your service. And now the agent is going to start seeing if we'd like to come to the academy to come and do a level test, or if we'd like to do a call online. Let's get building. First thing we're going to do is we want to get set up on a Google Drive. You want to get set up your knowledge base. So here's an example of what a knowledge base looks like, having spoken to a director, interviewed him, and he gave us all relevant documentation basically about the academy. And as we said, this is like stepping inside the mind of the owner. Through the conversation, we basically get to know the company inside out. We transcribe that into, it can be a Word document, it can be a PDF document. I like to form it in such a way that it's question and answers. And then what we're going to do is we are just going to give our AI agent access to all this. And as you can imagine, these are questions that a secretary would not know. She wouldn't know the answers to all these questions. I have it labeled Final Knowledge Base in my Google Drive. Then what I'm going to do, I need to go and open up a new workflow in N8N. I'm going to add Google module. Once I have that set up, you need to set up your authentication keys. We're not going to do that in this video, but it's easy to set up. Once I have that set up, okay, my API, the resource we're going to use is going to be a file. Operation is going to be download. And then what you'll see is you've got a whole list of items that are here inside in your drive. So those are all documents that you have in your drive. So this here is the exact document that we're going to use for our custom knowledge for our chat agent. And essentially what this entire process is going to do is it's going to take all that information, because it's a big chunk of information, and make it into smaller chunks. Now we have the Google Drive set up. Next step, I want you to go to pinecone.io, put in your details, set up an account. It's very straightforward. We're going to go to database, create an index, name it whatever you want. I have one already set up. I called it N8N, only lowercase. I already have one, but if I was to set it up, go down to Llama, click on that, come down here, AWS, Virginia, because we're free mode, and then you're going to go and you're going to create index. Next step, you want to generate API key. Click on this, name it whatever you want to name it. N8N workflow, generate key, copy, add a node. It's going to be Pinecone vector store. If I open that up, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to create credentials, type in the API key that you copied previously from here, and come back out first. Click save always. Go back into your Pinecone, the mode we're going to be using, your credentials, you should see them here in the options. We're going to go insert document function. Here, if you've done everything correctly, your index will show up here. And then we're going to go and you can test step. And if you receive a breakdown like this, all correct. Now, next thing you're going to need on your embeddings, click on that there, embeddings. These are the settings we're going to use. You need an API connection with whatever embedding you're using. I use OpenAI, so I have my own API keys. You need to go and you need to make a connection. The embedding model we're going to use here is embedding small tree, and we can go back again and I would be clicking save. Next is the default loader module. We're going to use binary as our options, load all input data, automatically detect, and the final part here is the text splitter. Here is where you can decide basically the output. The chunk size, a lot of people say 1,000, but for me personally, I like to put it at 500, and the overlap 250. So 50% is what I like to work with. So for the document that I've loaded, it gives us 33 chunks. Now, we need to test everything all the way through. Remember, hit save again, execute here, and you'll know that this is working correctly when you get an output here. My apologies, 34 items. So this, essentially what's after happening here is this big chunk of information has been broken down into 34 smaller chunks. We're going to use, for this part of the automation, we're going to use Go High Level. Now that we're inside here in Go High Level, trigger is going to be customer replied. I have the channel set to Instagram only because this is where I'm doing the demo, but you can set that if you want to anything, chat widget, email, messenger, SMS, WhatsApp, whatever you want. Going to save trigger. Then you need to add a custom webhook. It's going to be post method. This here, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your N8N workflow. Want you to copy test URL, paste it in here. What we're going to be looking for is the ID, name, and message. For the sake of this test, do you have adult classes? That's going to be the message we're going to send into the test. Then, very important, you want to listen for test event. Go back here. We're going to test with any contact. 200 is correct. Means it came through the information. Going to pin this here. And look, you'll see, do you have adult classes? Now that we're back here in our N8N workflow, let's zoom in a small bit. This node here is data transformation. What I like to do here is I like to give the entire bot persona. This is how the bot, their personality, who they are, how they're going to reply. So to map this out is manual mapping. Call it just bot persona. This here is the entire description of how we want this AI agent to reply and how it is basically its personality. And test step. The next step we're going to add is the AI agent, node, tools, AI agent, source defined below. And this is the prompt that I want you to use. Okay. And what you're going to, for you guys, this is going to be in red. I'll show you where you have to add them in. The last utterance or the last message. To put this in here, all you're going to do is go to Webhook, go down to message and drag this in. And there you go. And in the bot persona that we've already set previously and execute the steps, we get from up here. Drag this down and there you go. Before we test step, we want to go and we want to add a chat module. I use 4.0 mini. Let's hit save just in case. And here's the final part of the puzzle. In the tools, we're going to give answer questions with a vector store. Just add that in. All right. Use this information to answer questions about Impulse English Academy. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an answer questions with vector store. If I open that here, we're going to give the name, the data, a name. So let's go back here, open this, and this is the name that I've given my data store. Final knowledge base, data store. That's why I put it like this, final knowledge base. So it's easy to read for the large language model. And use this information to answer questions about the English Academy. Go ahead now and add the Pinecone vector store, which is the same as we have across here. We're going to have to set it up with your API keys. Remember, these are your OpenAI API keys or whatever large language model that you're using. Retrieve documents and your Pinecone index should come up here. Hit save, remember, and your embeddings module. You need to go and make another connection if it's not showing up here. Model embedding 3 as we had previously, and then you have your OpenAI model. Whatever model you want, like I said, I like to use 4.0 mini. Hit save again. Can't stress enough, always hit save. So let's go back here, and there you'll even notice such a simple thing as a space means that I was getting an error here. And what I want to do is I want to test here. I'm going to see that fantastic. They've all been used and we've one output. So the question we had, if we go back, we'll see here, if you go to your webhook, the question we had, do you have adult classes? What essentially happened is the agent went into its data store, got the information and wrote the reply. And there you have your reply that we're going to send to the final module, that it's going to be respond to, and all you do is put your output in here, save, go back to go high level, and now we have to add the final step in the process here. You're going to go and add an Instagram DM, custom webhook, response. And there you have it. I'm going to cancel because I already have it saved. Now to get this operating and functional, you need to go back to your webhook, production URL, copy that, paste it in here, and we need to test it one last time to have this system operational. Perfect. 200 means that it was a success. I can go ahead and hit save on this. And now this is operational and you have built your own AI chat agent. There you go. You now have a way to clone your knowledge into an always-on AI assistant. Please start thinking in terms of ecosystems. These AI assistants, they're nice to have, but it needs to be an integral part of a complete sales ecosystem. From the ads, to the leads, to nurturing the leads, to closing the deals, and follow-ups. If you're an online service provider interested in sales ecosystems, we'd love to hear from you.